the money looked really good. So it was like 30 to 40K earnings. And I was like, you know what, let me apply because I don't have any experience.
Yeah.
Especially in tech sales.
It's really good to have you in.
No, thank you for having me.
Great stuff. So I guess for those that are listening, would love to hear about yourself, your journey into tech. So do you mind telling the listeners what are you doing at the moment and what's your role within the tech space?
Yeah, so currently I'm a business development executive at a FinTech company called Sayo. We specialize in selling POS systems for small to medium sized businesses. So that's really where our market base is.
Love it. And I guess sales and sports is all about learning someone's journey into tech. Obviously you came through the EnterTech program. So do you mind taking me back to maybe school education, how you ended up into software sales? Because a lot of people fall into sales, especially in tech. It's very unknown as a career path. So yeah, I guess talk me through your journey from maybe sixth form to university. What did you study? And what was your background before you eventually got into the tech space?
Yeah, so let's start in sixth form. What was it? I was back in Kent. So I grew up in Kent.
Nice.
And then in sixth form I studied, was it business, economics and chemistry for A-level. Flunked. Terrible. I did terrible at sixth form, yeah. I think I came out with like 2 Ds and a C.
Wow.
And then I applied for a university degree because I honestly, I really wanted to, be successful and I felt like going to university was going to be that path for me. So I did a foundation year at Brunel University and then I was transferred over to the undergraduate program.
Nice.
So yeah, I ended Brunel with a degree in business and economics.
Amazing. And a foundation year, never heard of that. Is that like a segue in between where you can try it, or is it like a first year and then you go into first year again, or what's the foundation year? Yeah,
so a foundation year is like a transitionary period between A-level and undergrad program. Okay. So it kind of gives you some sort of an introspect into what the degree is going to be.
Yeah.
And obviously if you pass that, then you go through to that undergraduate program, like a standard 3-year course.
Nice. I've been actually to the Brunel campus with EnterTech, and even before that, so we did a careers day with EnterTech like 2 or 3 years ago. And then before that, I actually put up a marquee for their graduation.
Oh, nice.
There's a massive, huge marquee outside the, what is it, like the dorms where people stay. So yeah, know Brunel pretty well. And even like Usain Bolt was there using the facilities. So it's massive for sports. Yeah. How did you find it there? And like, did you realize, you knew what you wanted to do after graduating? Like, how was the degree? What sort of skills were you taught? And what was your path, or what did you consider? Because even me at uni, I didn't know what I wanted to go into. Yeah,
I think for me at university, I think my first and second year was just like straight. I just absorbed myself into the university culture. Yeah, going out, partying, all of that. And then obviously I settled down with I was into basketball, so I was part of the basketball team there in my third year.
Nice.
So that gave me some sort of a structure and like a regime to follow. But yeah, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. I mean, I knew I wanted to do something in IB, so investment banking. But obviously throughout my university period, it was peak COVID. Yeah. So from 2019 up to like the end of like 2021, it was still like a good COVID period. And at that point, a lot of internships were virtual. And I had like what would I say? It's like not a manager, but like I had a coach that would obviously like push us to find jobs within university. And they came across a lot of internships that were virtual. So I was applying to all of these virtual internships. And yeah, I managed to get like this experience. I had like 2 experiences. They're all virtual, like one Citibank and the other one, I forgot what it was called. I think it's Lazard.
Nice.
So yeah, I was onto that. But then I found out that it was just a bit too corporate for me. And I wanted something a little bit more relaxed. Everyone was a little bit too uptight, A bit
more, it was like rigid, I guess. Yeah.
And it's kind of what turned me off IB and like that big corporate role. And I wanted something a little bit more relaxed. So I came across, throughout my job search, after I after I graduated last year, no, in 2023 July, last year, came across you guys. I believe it was an advert or a job application on Indeed or something. It was for an SDR role, and well, the money looked really good, so it was like 30 to 40k earnings, and I was like, you know what, let me apply, because I don't have any experience, especially in tech sales. So it was more of like me just, grasping at an opportunity, and yeah, I believe it worked out very well for me.
Yeah, something that I guess to explore and have a look at, because lots of people don't obviously know what tech sales is, and software sales is not, I guess, it's becoming more mainstream now. Like for people that are in the industry, obviously they know what, you don't have to be a coder or, a tech genius or someone who is really technical to get into the industry. There's that, commercial facing roles, which can pay very well, and there's progression. But yeah, had you thought about tech all along? And had you thought about startups? I guess if you were looking for more of a relaxed, fluid environment, I guess startups is probably where you were looking to land eventually. But had you always been passionate about tech, and had you thought about sales before?
So with tech, I was absolutely like passionate about tech, because I knew it was a market that was going to grow, and that was something that I wanted to be a part of. And with sales especially, I think sales comes from my idea of sales, it comes from the ability to communicate, and finding like a solution to a problem, as opposed to that mindset of just I want to make as much money as possible. I get satisfied from essentially helping a business grow, or being a part of the growth of a business, as opposed to just making money for myself. I think that's an important part of sales as well. Love that.
And it's very entrepreneurial, right?
Yeah.
So if you like, if you're creative and you like seeing things build from the bottom, like being a tech startup is amazing. And also, the financial rewards of generally helping someone with their problems via software is the ultimate outcome, where you're going to get, rewarded financially, but also the company's going to grow and you're going to generally help people. So going into that, what's your setup at the moment, sort of day to day? You mentioned before we started recording, you'd been promoted. Talk me through, I guess, maybe how you broke in, after Entr Tech, after a program, how the interview process was with various firms, because people listening would love to know, I guess, bits and tricks and advice you can give. But talk to me about your entry into that first role at Taya, and how it's been for you, and maybe your day to day. So lots to cover there, but
let me break it down. So let's say before I was employed at Taya, I think that's where the foundations of sales were actually really set, because job hunting is tough. Yeah, it's very tough. And I think I came from a standpoint where I was quite lost in job hunting, and I'd shoot my CV out to a whole load of different companies, just trying to get an interview. But what actually really helped when job hunting was finding a structure. I think we spoke about it, and I've always implied it, even when I'm job hunting, you broke it down to me in the sense of make 10 applications, but quality applications to companies per day. And if you set yourself that target and follow through with it, then the numbers will come. So the interviews will come. I was applying to at least 10 a day at that point. And that really kind of helped me grow the amount of interviews I had. Because obviously in sales, it'll be lead gen. So that's what I was doing. Yeah, pretty much. So I was just trying to get as many leads, as many companies to apply to as possible, moving them along the pipeline, and eventually I found the one.
Love that. Is literally like you're doing the SDR, BDR role yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you can interview and job hunt really well, it shows, hiring managers or sales leaders that you can manage, obviously, your time management day to day, finding the right person to contact, maybe in a firm, identifying the decision maker, and then obviously either messaging them on LinkedIn or applying via LinkedIn. But I remember, we sat down, and I think it was just focusing on applying to companies that you really wanted to apply to, being tailored with your CV, and not just going for anything, but really, really being focused.
And that's one of the things that employers are looking for. The I think when I was in my interviews, they'd always ask me like, how do you handle rejection? And I think the best way is to give them like a real world example of what you're going through at that time.
Nice.
So I was literally just being open and honest to them. I was like, well, I've been rejected by how many companies trying to find the job for me, and maybe we just weren't the right fit at the time for both me and that company. But it's all about picking yourself back up and just keep going on, and building that resilience and really grit and determination to find that job that you're looking for.
100%. And it's got to be two-sided, right? You've got to make sure that they're a good fit for you, and not just them interviewing you, right? You've got to obviously have reasons, be really specific why you want to join that specific company.
Yeah.
But also you've got to make sure that, you know, they're ticking your boxes in terms of culture, progression, salary, things like that. So yeah, I mean, so Teo, was the interview process with them, do you mind breaking it down? Was it 1 stage, 2 stage? I guess it wasn't 1 stage, but how was the structure, and was it in person, online? And yeah, I guess going through to your day-to-day as well when you're working there.
Yeah, so the interview process for Teo, I believe it was, obviously you have that initial like screening of your application, and then I think I was called by the recruitment manager there, Johnny, at the time. And he asked me to go to have an interview with them. And obviously I was interviewing for a field sales role, where they were hiring people that had little to no experience in sales before. So yeah, I landed the interview there. So I went to the head office at the time in Victoria, and I was met by the head of sales, and he basically took me on a journey of what Teo stands for, what we do in the market for small to medium sized businesses, and our impact in the UK, and how we want to scale the company. But yeah, a lot of it was just understanding the company and the values and what we do as a business. And then they had like another exercise where we'd have to role play.
Nice.
And it was, I think my setup at the time was that I had to convince them to download an application on the phone.
Right, interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I did Otter. I don't know. Do you know Otter?
Otter, yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah.
The application for jobs, for job seekers. And then I applied. What's it called? I pitched Otter, and they gave me feedback on what to do next.
Wow.
And that was I think what they were looking for at the time was if you can take that feedback and apply it, and show them that you're willing to, you know, adapt and like, you know, implement the changes that and the feedback that they've given you, because they asked me for a second round. So after giving me the feedback, they asked me, oh, like, do you want to go again? And I jumped at the opportunity. I was like, yeah. So then
right there and then in the room. Wow.
I was like, yeah, let me go again. And then I think that was the switch in their mind that was like, okay, this guy he's willing to take on like feedback and implement it. So
yeah, he's coachable. I guess that's like what they're looking for, because they're not expecting you to be the finished product.
Yeah.
Obviously, some companies will want, you know, a year or 2 experience of sales experience, but some companies, on the other hand, might give you a shot because they can see you're coachable, you're willing to learn, you're going to take on feedback. So yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, I guess once you got into the role, I did field sales outside of tech, and I know how tough it can be, but what a great foundation it gives you for any role in the future, because I know you've now moved into a role where it's, I guess, phone-based and you don't have to be physically present. But talk to me through that journey. So you onboarding, didn't you go to like a few days away onboarding is outside of London? Did they have you all together for training and stuff?
Yeah.
How was that? I guess you would have probably met loads of other people as well. So yeah, I guess talk to me about the onboarding process and then the journey to the day-to-day.
No, honestly, like the onboarding process was absolutely amazing. It was 2 weeks. They put us in like a hotel in Milton Keynes where we do the training for Teo, for field sales. And obviously I was in a cohort with very similar people to me, similar background in the sense of we had no experience, or little to no experience. And yeah, it was just like, it was good having that camaraderie, because, you know, we're all in the same boat and we're all learning together. And even up to now, I'm still in contact with them. They're very nice people. And Even though some of them have moved away from the company, some have stayed. It just shows like there's a lot of changes that happen in life, especially. But yeah, the onboarding process, a lot of it was just understanding the script, and like they didn't want us to get to a point where we'd just be reciting from a script from memory.
Yeah.
What the main focus was the fact that there's milestones in the script, and as long as you hit those milestones, no matter which way that you go about it, you should be able to set an appointment with the business owner. So that's what they really drilled into us. It was the script and the milestones, and then we even had like a day where we'd be on the field. So we'd go out to the high streets, going door to door in the businesses, trying to set appointments with these owners for the POS systems, which was it's quite scary firsthand. I think 100%. My first door that I knocked, I must have been like shaking or like stuttering through through what I was gonna say. And then my manager came up to me and was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I know you've had a lot of training, but it's hard like applying it firsthand, but it will get better soon." And I think I just trusted in him, and I was like, you know what, let me just bang out as many doors as I possibly can, because the more I practice it, the better I'll get at it. But yeah, that was post-training. And no, that was during training. Post-training, when I was actually on the field, it was quite hard. I mean, I had little to no experience prior to that, so I would be knocking on business owners' doors. A lot of them would be like telling me to go away or and then I'll be like,
that's probably a polite way of saying it.
Yeah, that's very polite. But yeah, it was quite challenging at first, being alone in the field, especially when you don't have your team around you.
100%.
Like we'd have team meetings every morning, but then after the team meetings, like we'll just be expected to go and try to set appointments and so
you're sort of motivating yourself almost, because especially if there's no one around with you. But it's interesting what you touched upon about like camaraderie when you're onboarding with other people, because like the SDR BDR role is so great because you can meet other people, like-minded people, similar ages, and stay friends with them for life.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Even in my career early on, met lots of great people that you still keep in touch with, which is epic. What would you say, I guess, helped you get through the first 6 months and to progress to where you are today in terms of getting a promotion to working, in the office environment? Like what was it that, you had? I guess maybe it's a skill you had innately, but what made you be a success in that role?
I think what they liked about me at Taya was the fact that I could jump at any opportunity, because in startups especially, there's a lot of change that happens.
Yeah.
So I think throughout my period of field sales, I was pitching like another product that we trialed. It was like an advertisement product, and it didn't go to plan, but obviously I think they kind of saw that I was willing and able to do this for the company. And I think adaptability is very important. If you're able to adapt to the nature of the business and the changes that happen in the startup, it's something that's quite a big thing for people like myself, and even other candidates out that are applying for jobs. I think adaptability is important. I mean, I went from field selling the POS systems, and I went inside sales selling the POS systems, and then I got moved into cash advance. So
nice. And that's, I guess you mentioned to me earlier, more of an office-based role where you're reaching out to business owners over the phone.
Yeah.
Like on average, how many people would you be contacting per day or per week? How does it work? I guess your day-to-day structure at the moment.
So at the moment, so I get into the office at like 9 a.m. And then I'm on the phones by that time, and then so I'd be calling like a list of leads that already Taya customers, and basically I'll be trying to sell or upsell them on cash advance, so like business loans, and for them to invest in their business. And I'm calling roughly around 150 dials a day.
Yeah.
Which is quite strenuous.
Yeah.
Having to keep that, energy about you
100%.
is hard.
100%. I think, even I think when I was in the role, like 50 was the day-to-day limit, and that was like a lot. I guess it helps if they're already customers because they're probably a bit warmer when you mentioned Taya. But how do you keep yourself motivated to hit those 100 dials?
Well, obviously 100 dials is like an average, but really and truly, I think what I do to keep myself motivated is taking, time for myself. Let's say if I'm feeling like quite overwhelmed with the amount of dials that I'm doing, it's important to kind of like take a 10-minute break, just have a breather, have a coffee or whatever or whatnot. Like there are times where I just walk around like Blackfriars and then just like clear my space and just like and breathe and then come back in and then I'm ready to go again. But yeah, dialing is hard because you have to keep the customer engaged in the conversation all the time, and obviously when you're having that many calls a day, it will be strenuous on you.
Yeah, 100%. Good stuff. And I guess what's the best thing, taking a step back to the more of a like holistic picture, if you were giving advice to people thinking of considering tech sales, what's the best thing for you about working in tech sales or working in tech? Like what do you like about it? Is it the rewards? Is it the, I guess, over to you in terms of that. Like, is it the people you meet? Like what do you enjoy about day to day?
Yeah, for me, tech sales in general and sales in general is, I think, because I get to speak to a wide array of people, you learn a lot of social skills. So you need to be able to maneuver your way through conversations with many different people from many different backgrounds. And I think that's a skill that is that I've learned to develop over time. Adapting the way that you speak, slowing your tone with other customers and other people. I think that will be very, very useful if you can maneuver your way through conversation with different people. That'll be very good.
100%. It's good skill for life. What would you say you enjoy about working in the industry or the role itself? Is it, I guess, the financial rewards? Is it the fact you're in a fast growing industry? Like what for you is the best thing about working in tech sales personally?
I would say the financial rewards there is pretty good. Especially for a person my age, like I'm 23, and it's very rewarding that you get to feel the fruits of your labor, and then you actually receive that as well. So
100%. And like not going into like too much of the, I guess, the technicalities or financials, but in terms of like commissions, would you say you can get 30%, 50% of your base wage in commissions, 10%, like what a year? What's so people don't really know about commissions in tech sales. What would you say, like, as a ballpark people can make in terms of like percentage wise in commissions? Or does it really depend on the role?
Yeah, so it would depend on the role. However, in my role, my commission is revenue based. So however much I bring into the business will be reflected in my commissions.
Nice.
But the earning potential is very good. I mean, it's uncapped.
Uncapped.
So however much it's really just like however hard you work, then you'll be able to earn that much. So
yeah, it's good. I guess being uncapped is ideal, right? Because I couldn't imagine being in a sales role where it's capped, because then you feel like the extra work you're putting in doesn't get rewarded. That's really cool. And I guess it is a sales and sports podcast. You were telling me about basketball earlier. I guess do you still play? Do you still support teams in the NBA? I guess, like, is there any similarities between sales and sports you can pick apart, I guess?
Yeah, sales and sports are very, very, very similar. I mean, I think you need to have some sort of a competitive edge when you're in both industries. When I was playing basketball at uni, like, we'd have training at like 7 a.m, like early hours, because that's the only slots that were available for my team. And you almost have to like force yourself to get up every morning. Well, not every morning, but like the mornings that we are training, to put in the work to be good at what you, to be good on the court. And I think having that structure and having to do things that even though you don't want to do it is very important. And I think that reflects over into sales too. That's pretty much it.
100%. I agree. Just putting in the yards.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, I guess? So you're obviously in the fintech space. Do you think you'll stay in fintech forever, or would you have a look at other industries within tech? Are you fully going to stay in software sales? Have you thought that far ahead? Like what's the future for you?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. I think for now I will stay in the fintech space, especially in the sales space. I think that's something that I really want to get better at. I've still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep building myself up every day, just to get to a point where I'm a polished kind of salesman in that kind of sense. But yeah, I think fintech and tech sales is definitely where I'm going to stay at, and definitely within the next like 2 years. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, fintech's always strong market to be in. Okay, wicked. And last thing for me is like, what's the benefits working in tech? Is there anything they give you in terms of holiday, or I don't know if they do president's clubs or anything? Is there anything they do that you think that's pretty cool?
Yeah, so because you're in the tech space, my company, they really kind of hone in on the benefits in the sense of like they'll partner with various different companies. I don't know if you know like Hi Bob and Gym Pass and Wellness Hub. They're all quite startup kind of companies as well, and it's very rewarding. I mean, Gym Pass is probably one of the best benefits that Teo does. Like you're able to go to any gym in your area with that pass. So it's actually it's very
nice.
good. Yeah.
No excuses not to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, I guess going into EnterTech, how did you find the program, and for you, what were the best aspects, I guess, coming on?
Yeah, I think with EnterTech, obviously it's a 6-week program. I think it was good to find like some sort of an insight into what the role of an SDR would look like, and being able to connect with account executives and people that are in this industry for a long time. From a person with no experience, you're able to absorb a lot of information. So if you can learn from these guys, take notes, really apply it to what you want to do, not just in sales but in life as well, then that's something that was really important. That made an impact on me, because I was able to take these learnings from the perspectives of polished people in the space, and really just apply it to where I was at the time.
Awesome. And I guess, did you feel like it gave you an edge when it came to interviews, that you kind of had more of an understanding of what you're talking about? I mean, did you discuss it with potential hiring managers or talent leaders?
Yeah. So with hiring managers, I think they loved the fact that I did EnterTech, because it kind of showed that I really wanted to be in that kind of industry. And I would invest in myself to actually, find the right place for me. I think, doing all the exercises in EnterTech with the cold calling, the email outreach, very, very fun activities that I never really thought of at the time. And yeah, it was good. Like, I think I was helping actually my brother who recently started a marketing agency.
Nice. I
was helping him with outreach and just showing him what I was how to do things with emails and cold calling, and it was good. Yeah. I think it's a very fun journey.
Amazing. And I guess, what's one thing that surprised you about breaking into tech that you didn't know before? I guess in the day-to-day role, or when you're applying to companies?
I'm not sure if there's anything surprised me, because I did a lot of research in the industry, and I'd say one thing that really stood out to me was really the earning potential in the industry. And I knew I wanted to get some sort of a slice of that pie, and EnterTech was definitely my way forward from that, or my first foot forward when it came to that.
Well, yeah, Jose, so happy to have you on. Thanks so much for coming on. If people want to reach out to you and hear more about your story or ask for advice about breaking in, is LinkedIn the best place, or what's the best place to find you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn. It'll just be my name, Jose Trajano, and just give me a message, and I'll be sure to reply to you guys. Yeah, got a lot of love for EnterTech. This is my first way into sales and tech sales. So yeah, it's I think this is where I really kind of had my foundation set and built throughout that 6-week course. It was absolutely amazing.
Honestly, it means a lot. Thanks so much.
No, thank you.